picked it up and threw it over to my house, or maybe a volcano blew and a piece of the mountain landed. But if you're like me, a little more practical and simple-minded, then you'd probably think, hey, someone just threw a rock through my window, I want to know who and why. Today, 3I Atlas is that cosmic rock that's come through our solar window and landed on our solar dining table. 3I Atlas, it's only the third ever discovered interstellar object. Even though it's classified as a comet, its behavior and composition defy a lot of the known laws of physics. So I've gathered a compilation of information from the CR library, OneSearch search engine, and based on the reports from NASA, the European Space Agency, the Astronomical Royal Society, and Harvard University Professor Avi Loeb, I'll summarize for you what I've learned. As most of us learned in grade school, the sun sits at the center of the solar system. All the planets circle around the sun. Well, they follow what's called the orbital plane or ecliptic plane, and it's pretty much in a line around the center of the sun. And then behind Jupiter and Mars is the asteroid belt, which would be right here. It's believed to be the leftover remnants from the early formation of the solar system. It ranges from pieces of dust to the size of a dwarf planet called Ceres. It's like 584 miles across in diameter. In 2017, we got the first interstellar object that ever entered into the solar system and was discovered. It was Oumuamua. Now, Oumuamua had different characteristics than a lot of the other comets. As you see, it's long, flat, elongated. It was flipping end over end. Well, when it reached its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, it suddenly shot up out of the solar system with no visible means of propulsion. It just left every astrophysicist kind of scratching their heads, going, what happened? Well, then 2 years later in 2019, we got the arrival of another comet that was interstellar from outside our solar system. This is 2I Borisov. And everything about it had the same characteristics as all the other planets, or all the other comets that we see in our solar system. Unlike asteroids, comets have a unique place in history. The Babylonians, the Greeks, the Chinese all kept meticulous records. The comets were associated with omens, like the rise and fall of empires, the death of kings, plagues. But there was also the good omens, like the Judeo-Christian narrative of the Star of Bethlehem, where the Magi from the east seen the star over Bethlehem and announced the birth of the Messiah. A typical comet is a snowy dirt ball. That's what the astrophysicists call it, or sometimes a dirty snowball. It's due to its frozen gases. A coma from 3I Atlas. Normally the sun heats up the comet and then the tail forms, but with the Doppler shift you can see that the blue shift means it's headed towards. So it's headed towards the sun and its tail is headed towards the sun. Completely the opposite of any other comet, because what happens is all those gases sublimate and that's what creates the tail. Another odd thing about the 3I Atlas is the presence of nickel without iron. On Earth, iron and nickel are always together. They have to be separated in industrial chemical processes, and then we use that nickel in the construction of spacecraft and as well as other things. Some of the unusual aspects about 3I Borisov, again, is its anti-tail, and its composition is like backwards compared to the other planets. It's 8-to-1 ratio of carbon dioxide to water instead of the other way around, so it's mostly carbon dioxide. And then it's also traveling at 60 kilometers per second. And that's fast enough to travel from like LA to New York in like 5 minutes. So 3I Atlas, when it comes in, it's coming in on the elliptical plane at 60 kilometers per second. when it reaches its perihelion, it'd be on the exact opposite side of the sun from the Earth. So we won't be able to see it with any telescopes that we have deployed in space, except for maybe some over by Mars, but we won't be able to see the other side of the sun. So that brings me to my next point. Professor Avi Loeb, he's an astrophysicist at Harvard University. He's drawn some criticism for suggesting that this is an artificial object, and in his defense, he's not making any definitive claims. He's just simply stated that the hypothesis that it could be artificial, and with all the coincidences that takes place, it rises exponentially that it could be an artificial object. Its appearance, trajectory, composition, proximity to the other planets, its sudden color change when it turned green, and all the nickel without iron all point towards artificial. Avi contends that it would be a perfect checking out the other planets. So, in conclusion, that this may be the strangest anomaly we've ever experienced in the skies. If it is an alien craft for some reason, we better hope it's benevolent, because if it has nefarious plans, then we don't have any defense against that kind of magnitude of alien technology. And so I guess my take-home message is, next time you're just staring at your cell phones, remember to look up once in a while. It could have a rock headed in your direction. Thank you.